Merry meet everyone. This is your celestial host, Sirona Rose, and I'm here to give you an astro update of the show that went on October the 3rd, 2019. Remember that I do have a show every Thursday night at 9 p.m. on the cauldron.net. I'll leave that link below in the description box. But just to let you know, those shows do go out every week unless something major happens. And I got a lot of interesting stuff to discuss this week coming up. But first, let's do a refresher of the last week's show and talk about a few things that are going on within the next couple days. I just want to remind you that I do write for the awesome pagan magazine, The Witch's Brew, and that's about the only magazine that you can get that has elders writing in it, and those that have been empath for a while, those that are trained and are very seasoned. We just had our next issue that just come out. You can go on over to AncientSisters.com to get your copy, or you can get your subscription. We send it out every quarterly. If you keep up with me on my social media pages, I do post when they're coming out, and I have posted the new issue, so you want to check that out. I'll let you see one really quick and let you see what it looks like. This is one of them here. Oh, you gotta look there here. This is one of them here. It's a magazine. It's really pretty. It's got a lot of information, stuff like that. Also, if you have a pagan business and you want to advertise in the magazine, or you want to advertise on my show every Thursday nights, you can email me and I can get back to you. My radio show is not a podcast. It's WCAS. It's a digital broadcasting network, and it goes to, it's worldwide. It's a wonderful investment. It's you investing back into your pagan community. So again, if you have any questions about that, you can contact me. My email is theowlseer@gmail.com. And I can help you out with that. I do like to keep that separate from this email, because this one I try to keep it astrology and readings. So those of you that do want a more personal reading, or do have any questions about astrology, you're always welcome to contact me at AstroTarot report@gmail.com. This is another issue here that came out. I have several of them here, so I can show you. And like, again, it's a nice magazine. It's got some really it's really colorful. Oh, there's my article. This is the one where I talked about the ancient Asian beauty secret, camellia seed oil. This is my article on there. And like I said, I do write for this. I write the herbal part of it, the witch's kitchen, healing, cooking, and herbs the witch way. And there you can see that right there. So I do write in that. In this issue coming up, I'm going to be talking about herbs that are good for women's health through the different seasons. The names of the article is Seasons of the Woman, and that's a really good one. You will not want to miss this next issue. Now, I want to do a little bit of announcements more than just me. The International Pagan Music Association is a really good association if you are a pagan musician, or if you just love pagan music and you want to support the pagan musicians. We do have award ceremony every year. You get a wonderful award if you win. We have categories such as Band of the Year, Female Vocalist of the Year, and Male Vocalist of the Year. It's a beautiful, beautiful crystal award that you do get if you win that. For more information about the International Pagan Music Association, you can go to ipaganma.org. Again, all these websites that I am listing, I will put them in the description box, so you can just go right to that. Also, we are a part of a really cool internet program called FringeTV.online, and that is a pagan and alternative programming. They bring you metaphysical content, movies, live talk shows, music videos, documentary, home shopping, and more. It's really cool, so go check that out. And I want to thank the Cauldron Radio for airing my show every Thursday night. And the Circle of Ancient Sisters, they are a huge help to the community here and abroad. Melissa Anderson is the one who really works a lot of that, and she helps keep these wheels rolling. Really good priestess there. High priestess, I should say. Now, we do have several shows on the Cauldron.net. We have on Wednesday night, The Tangled Web of Wicca. It's Wicca 101 with High Priestess Rain Dove. That's at 9 p.m. Eastern. And on Friday nights, you can check out Up Close and Personal, Interviews That Matter with your host, Alfred Willowhawk. Those are really good. I know this past one, I think it was last Friday night, or not before, he had Belladonna on there. You can also go on there and listen to the past shows. It costs $1.99, and that just simply goes to help keep the station running and pay those bills for the station. So stay tuned for that, and the schedule and the visitors are the ones that he interviews will be on the website, so you can always, stay updated with that. Now, if you haven't tuned into my show, AstroTarot is basically an astrology reading, and it's followed by a divination reading. I used to just do the tarot cards, but since I have journeyed on my path, the runes have called me. I use a set of runes that I made when I was, I was 26, so it's been about 18 years ago. So yeah, I've been on my path for a while. And it's a beautiful deck that I made. It's simple, but really great energy. I've started reading them back, and I also read the Om. So we do one of those. We do an Om a week. We do an Om a month. We do a rune of the week, and we do a tarot reading of the week. Now, when I started this, I was just doing earth energy readings that were basically astrology readings, and I would do a blog on that. I was on Blog Talk Radio, and I would do a simple tarot reading on that as well, and those would be separate ones. I would do the new moon and the full moon tarot readings, so this just combines the two, and it makes it simpler. Astrology is, it's bringing, when I do the astrology with the readings, it's bringing, as above, so below, right? And I do this to help people to learn how to consciously apply astrology to their life. A lot of people look at astrology because it is such a vast ocean. It's very deep. There's a lot of stuff to learn. It's an ancient practice. So, there's a lot to learn. So through this, I like to help people consciously work through these energies. I like them to understand what energies are influencing you from our celestial bodies, and then help you consciously apply the astrology to your life. And I feel this is a good way so you can expect what is coming, and you can prepare for that, so you can, easily and peacefully, hopefully, move through it. So you're conscious of these energies, so you're able to prepare for it. And I feel that it's better to be conscious of this so you can be an active participant in your life. You can actually work with the fates and co-create your future. So this is a good way to help you manifest things in your life. Now, one thing I do want to say, because I've heard a lot of stuff regarding the retrogrades and regarding, Mercury and Saturn. I've seen a lot of memes out there that really talk about astrology in different ways, but astrology itself is neutral. It does not cause things to happen. It just explains the underlying energies that you might be feeling. Astrology is a connection to something bigger than us, and it makes us aware of our sensitivity to our environment. We have to remember that in today's world, astrology is considered New Age, but it's really not. In Ptolemy's time, for example, not only was astronomy taught, but so was astrology. The study of astrology normally involves our throat chakras up, as we are using it to enlighten us, to have greater understandings. I would say like a spiritual evolution of sorts. So here we'll be bringing that cosmic energy down to us, bringing it through us and grounding it into Mother Earth. And if you are pagan, this is comparable to walking the wheel of the year. And I have noticed that since I've started using astrology and comparing it to the Celtic Wheel of the Year, I've noticed other astrologers comparing that as well. So, they really do work hand in hand. Our Celtic Wheel of the Year explains our different Sabbats, explains what's going on at that time, and also it's a better way to understand these planets because they also do this too. Now, I'm going to go on. I want to thank you so much for listening and for watching the video. And I want to talk about in the week before last, I know I didn't give an update. It has been so crazy. I do event planning, so I had a huge event taking place and I really just did not have time. But I did talk about in the week before last show about an alignment with Venus and the Sun. And I saw on spaceweather.com where there was some green light. You could see it was a flickering green light. And that was due to that alignment. So that was really cool. The new moon that we had, it was a supermoon, and yes, supermoons can happen when the moon is in its dark phase. A supermoon simply means that the moon is close to the earth at that time. So when the new moon took place in the sign of Libra, it had great focus upon relationships to find a balance and harmony within all of our relationships. But this energy also wanted us to recognize beauty and to look for it in the many different things that we have. Libra's planet is Venus. So this is about love and beauty. And it's also about diplomacy. As you could encounter a power struggle at this time, it's important to find middle ground within these areas at this time. This is this energy that started from the new moon that will go to the next new moon. So we are getting ready to have a full moon on, let's see here. When is our next full moon? Our full moon is going to be on the 13th of October, and it will be in the sign of Aries, so that will be great. I'll be talking about that our next show. So we've got a lot of energy happening at this time. Now, going back to this alignment and to this new moon that we had in Libra, this is where the South Node and Saturn really came into the picture. Many times when we leave a relationship, there can be no type of closure. Sometimes you just stop talking. I think the correct lingo for that is getting ghosted now. And or maybe you just realize that you just cannot talk to each other. You just cannot get along, and you just decide to go on with your life and let that be it. But then when many people do this, and they don't allow that time to heal, they don't allow that closure to take place, allow yourself time. You don't have to say goodbye to a person to have closure. You can do closure within yourself. But many times we don't allow that to happen, and then we get into another relationship very, very quickly. And similar type of situation happens, or a scenario. For example, it could be a different person and maybe not the exact same things, but something close to that. Now, this is when you're conscious of what is going on. This is when you can become aware of toxic karmic cycles that you are in. So with Saturn going direct back on September the 19th, you probably felt that shift as well, and it was a shift. and our new moon was in Libra, we were definitely seeing, it was definitely having us to look into the mirror, look within ourselves, seeing our fears, seeing that which we need to leave behind, the things that are no longer good for us, for our personal growth, that which stands in your way to help you flourish in your life. This is a time that we look in our mirror and we can see our shadow. Now, that is it's a very hard time for a lot of people. This sends a lot of people into a dark place. And this is why I urge people that when they're working through a spiritual path, to always have a mentor, because a mentor can help you move through these energies as well, help you understand what's going on at these different times. Now, back on the 19th of September, the sun and the moon were opposite Chiron, and that offered us the energy to do some deep wound healing, where we were deeply wounded in relationships. Again, this is all relationships, okay? And when the sun in Libra, it also meant the self, about going within and healing the self from those deep wounds that we could be feeling. The fall equinox created a shift on our earth. And one thing I have noticed, and maybe you too, is that when it comes to the solstices, it's like the further north that you go from the equator, it's like there are actual structures to honor those times of the year, such as Stonehenge. But as you get closer to the equator, they honor the equinoxes. Now, I was able to go and explore some of the Mayan ruins in Merida, Mexico, that is located on the Yucatan Peninsula. I visited the, I'm going to butcher this word because it is a hard word to say, the Ditzilchulten, which is also known as the Palace of the Seven Dolls, and this is actually archaeoastronomical alignment with the spring solstice, which is Ostara. So when the sun rises on the spring solstice, the sun shines right through the top of that in this little hole that is created. Now, from there, that was a wonderful experience. If you're ever able to go down there, I suggest to explore these ruins, and to go and walk these paths. I mean, there was a path there that was made out of, I want to say limestone, but I believe they mentioned something else. But it would glow in the dark. So when the moon was full, it was like the pathway lit up. So it was like their pathway was, had lights on it. It was really nice. But after that, after our visit there, we went over to Cozumel, Mexico. And, it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. Bluest waters I've ever seen. We see right through to the bottom, very clear white sands. And what I did find out when I was there is that is the island of Ischel. And I got to swim and play around in her waters. And I will tell you, I felt right at home there. This place felt beautiful. The water was just, it was beautiful. I mean, there was beautiful fish, swimming by my legs, the breeze, the smells, everything. I really fell in love with Cozumel. And if you're able to go visit, please do so. It is very well worth it. But before I get lost on this, I want to touch on Ischel a little bit. I know that many of you may not have heard of her. She is the Mayan jaguar goddess of midwifery and medicine, and that is in the Mayan culture, okay? Now, she is considered the goddess of love because she is the goddess of making children. And I felt her medicine flowing very strongly there as I was swimming in her waters and just soaking up the energy there. It was truly, truly a good time for my heart and soul and my overall well-being of my body. Wonderful experience. Now, On October the 3rd, when the show was aired, Pluto stationed and he went direct. Now, when a planet does this, they stop, and what it is when they're getting ready to go direct, this is a standstill for a minute. And this is when he's in closest proximity to the Earth. And this is when his influences are the most powerful. Now, Pluto has a very strong energetic influence, and a lot of us heavily felt that. When I was online reading what other people were going through, reading all kinds of different messages from people, we really felt that. Now, again, retrogrades are not bad. Retrogrades is a time, they're not bad luck. They're not evil. It's not a bad time. Matter of fact, if you are having a hard time during a retrograde, you need to really sit down and look at yourself, because a retrograde time is about going within. This is the time when we rejuvenate, when we reorganize, reprioritize our lives. We are looking at things. We're remembering, where were we? What were we doing? How did we get to where we are right now? So if you're having a hard time, there could be some things that you just really do not want to look at this time. And the energy all the way around is supporting this, because guess what? Pluto is the lord of the underworld. Okay? And when we journey into the underworld, it can be very uncomfortable, as we are having to look at things that we don't want to see, especially our shadows. Now, at this transition, we can find ourselves at a crossroad, a time where we may need to make some big decisions. There may be some stuff that's on the table that you need to make decisions about, something that you've been overlooking for a while now, and now it's come to a head, and you're at this crossroads. And which way are you going to go? Now, I've heard a lot of negative talk about Pluto because of Pluto's harshness. Again, if you have a problem with Plutonian energy or Scorpion energy, you see, this is about shadow work. This is about going within. So it's a time that when you're having issues with that is definitely a time that you really need to sit down and look in the mirror. Have we all been there? Absolutely. Have I been there? Yes. Have I had to look at things here lately that I didn't want to look at? Yes. I literally spent the whole month of August in a hospital. I was in the bed for a month, okay? For a whole month. And you talk about a time of having to look at your life and figure out what is going on. When you're in a situation such as that, you are forced to look at things that you really just didn't want to see. Maybe it's because maybe you love somebody. Maybe we get in our happy, comfortable spots. We get in our ruts. We don't want to leave. Oh, it's nice and it's soft and it's comfortable and I can just be here and I'm happy. But that's not life. Because the only constant in this life is change. And when we're not changing, we are stagnating. And that's when, energy is supposed to be flowing freely. So this is when you start having problems. So look at that again. When we talk about retrograde, and we soon will, remember this. Remember that retrogrades are not a dreaded time. It's a time of growth. It's a time of getting to know you, to thine own self be true. One of the things about Pluto, and there's several, and I love Pluto. I love Pluto energy. I love what he's there to do, because Pluto, yes, he destroys. He most certainly does. but he destroys in order to create. Okay? Pluto is about how we relate to the cycles of life, living and dying. And this is a process of transformation. Now, Pluto he's an ice dwarf planet, and he takes about 248 years to cycle through the zodiac signs. He spends a good amount of time with them as well, about 11 to 32 years, and it depends on the sign. Now, what's interesting is that he spends less time in his own zodiac sign of Scorpio, and he spends more time in his opposite sign of Taurus. Imagine that, huh? Now, before the discovery of Pluto, Scorpio's planet was Mars. So while Pluto shows you how to use your energy, Mars represents the life force of the subconscious psyche to Pluto. Or I should say Scorpio. Now, since 2008, he has been moving through the sign of Capricorn. Now, Pluto is quite interesting in Capricorn, and we can really, as Capricorn represents government, it represents the strong hand of the law. Now, look in our world right now. What's going on in our world right now? Look at our governments, not just in the United States, but all over the world. There's secrets coming out. There's things there's skin being shed. Layers are peeling back, exposing the truth. And it keeps happening. And remember, this is a buildup of energy that is coming to an alignment in January between Pluto and Saturn in 2020. So, stuff that's happening, if you pay attention to astrology, astrologists can tell you what's going on. I'm not saying just listen to what I'm saying, because I'm not the only one saying this stuff. All astrologists know about the year 2020. It's going to be very, very interesting to see what's coming about. Now, with Pluto, he can make a complete reversal in your life. Because remember, he loves to destroy in order to create. He loves to take away those things that are dead, that are no longer useful. And, this can go into healing past trauma. And this is actually a very enlightenment time here. It's enlightening, it's helping you see some of those things that you refuse to see. Now, Pluto is a force of great transformation. He represents death, necessity. He represents the dark mother, or the dark feminine, or the crone. He represents wise women, as well as witches, wizards, and the beautiful, colorful bird, the phoenix. This planet is seen as masculine, but its realm is feminine, and it is associated with the ancient mother goddesses that were pictured as dragons and serpents. They represent transformation and the power of nature. This is the ancient self-fertilizing goddesses, as well as it represents life and death. And you could have, during this time, you could start feeling things that are unfair, unjust to you. These situations require you to go very deep and see what created this pain within. And you have to be willing to choose this. Okay, this is not something that's going to be a given. We all come to that point where we have to choose what we're going to do. We can either change and turn away, or we can choose to keep on repeating that toxic karmic cycle. Pluto makes you confront the necessary regeneration, or the evolution of the soul. He makes you look at this. Yeah, he makes you take a really good look at it. And he makes you confront all of this just to bring you some enlightenment. He's doing this for your highest good. And I'm not saying he himself, but as in terms of Lord of the Underworld. This is the Lord of the Underworld's job, is to help you confront this, to shed it, to become more enlightened. And this is about being conscious of our path. Where are you going? What path are you on? You know, we do have a responsibility to choose to move within the direction that we want to go. This can be a very challenging place, and the pain during this time can make us, want to back down from this. But, he's showing us what we need to see. And this is very much a true metaphorical process of alchemy. This is alchemy happening, as taking that challenge, stepping up to the plate, taking that challenge, and take that burden that you're feeling, that overwhelmment, taking that situation and turning it into something of great value to you that could end up being your treasure. So you're taking all of this that you're feeling, and you are transforming transforming this energy so that you can use it to better yourself. Now, isn't that beautiful? To think about Pluto in that way it's wonderful. Now, one thing that you need to remember is that when he works with you, there is going to be challenges, and running from these challenges is not growth. Okay? That's not growth. That's backing down from growth. Now, we started our journey of Pluto in Capricorn. We were able to see where we were treated unjust and unfair, that which we consider a burden, and turn it into something of great value. This can be us stopping toxic behaviors, addictions, things that are destructive to our lives. And it can also help us transform other people as well. Pluto in Capricorn, we're seeing a different power. We're seeing power in a different way. We're seeing that we can use it not to have control over someone, but to help them overcome their challenges as well. Look at the shadows. It helps us to look at our shadow aspects and to heal those, and help others heal those as well. Now, Pluto will remain in Capricorn until March the 23rd, 2023. And that on that date is the spring equinox, very fitting. And he will move into the sign of Aquarius. And remember, whatever sign Pluto is in, he is going to show us the darker side of it. Pluto is our underworld, and that is what he does. But, one thing you have to remember here too is that Persephone was drawn to that underworld. And she was drawn there to be with Hades because of love. So this says that we are drawn to our darker side because we do ultimately want to examine the self, to reflect, to look at our shadow. And if we don't heal what needs to be healing, we will end up reflecting our shadow onto other people, which can ruin our relationships. And let's face it, everyone has done this at one time or another. So be conscious and work on this. Now, when Pluto in the sign of Capricorn, which is the sign of power, goes direct, he will square Venus, which is in Libra, And this is Venus's home planet. She's very strong here. This is about balance and balancing energy, and it's about how we relate to each other. And this is about two people finding common ground, finding a harmonic balance. This is influencing the power dynamics in our lives as well as fairness. Where is the imbalances in your life? And how can we find a balance? These are very important questions that we may be going through at this time. This could also touch on our personal inner work, as in what are you needing at this time? Do you need to take some time to yourself? It could touch on all of that. You need to make a decision on what truly matters to you, not what other people think, but it's about what truly matters to you, because this is you changing from the inside out. This is inner work coming to the out, and this is not going to happen overnight. It will not be a fast process. Pluto is our outermost planet, so this is about what is going to be better for you in the long run. Venus is about nurturing, and this can mean ourselves or others as well. Pluto does remind us that through hard work and shedding of the old, that wealth will be waiting for us. We will be able to, we have that just award waiting for us after the hard work is done. And you will be able to reap what you have sown. And Pluto moving forward helps you own your own power. It helps you become powerful from the inside out. Now, also on October 3rd, Mercury moved into Scorpio, and this is about communicating what is going on and seeing beyond the illusions. There are many illusions right now in our life and things that are going on, so this is very much touching on that. You need to pay attention and see deeper. Listen to what people are saying. This will bring us insight into what we are no longer wanting to look at to help us heal that. And it's about raising the shadow and becoming enlightened. At the end of the month, on October the 31st, Samhain, Mercury will station and go direct. Mercury will station and go retrograde, not direct. He'll go retrograde. So the whole month of November will have the Mercury retrograde energy. Now we are pretty much entering into its shadow, and this will give us a chance to look at our deepest secrets. We could see some deep secrets coming up around about this time, and it's allowing us to bring conversation and understanding and bring insight into communication. Now, the exact dates for the retrograde are October the 31st through November the 20th, 2019. But like I said, its energy can be felt during its shadow time, and its shadow time is 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after. Now, I'm going to say this again because as an astrologer, I get really tired of seeing this. Please know that retrogrades do not cause things to happen. I have seen and heard all types of memes and sayings and all kinds of stuff that, for example, retrogrades are bad luck. They're not. They're nothing to get up in arms over, because it's a time to look in and it's a time of reflection. This is not doom and gloom. Remember, you have free choice. And when you're truly struggling, you really need to look at yourself, because there are definitely parts of your shadow that you are refusing to see. And also, do not use astrology to invoke fear and worry into others. Use it to enlighten and to awaken, to help one raise their energy. Now, when I talk about my astrology and I tell you what's going on, I'm not doing it to cause you fear. I'm telling you what's going on, so I'm giving you the energy influence that can be felt so you can expect it, so you can work through it consciously. So you can actually do that work, do that inner work that you need to do, so you won't have I can't say a chaos-free time, but you can have things work easier. You know, everything comes from chaos, right? But it's directed chaos. You need to direct it. You need to focus your intent. You're doing some reflection here. You're doing some time to go within. You're reorganizing your life. You're looking at it. You're looking at jobs. You're looking at your job. Is this job really worth it? Is it really paying you enough to put up with what you're putting up with? It's looking at relationships. You know, it's looking at all areas of your life, even yourself. Are you truly eating the foods that are good for you? Are you, are you truly taking care of yourself in the way that you should take care of? Should you adjust your diet? Should you look at your addiction? Should you stop smoking, stop taking, whatever? It's making you look at yourself, okay? Now, to the other astrologers, and those of you that just pass this energy around, be mindful of what energy you are putting out there. You know, you are responsible for the energy that you bring to the table and that you send forth. You're responsible for that. Be someone of ethics. I feel that's missing. You know, astrology seems to be on this new age bandwagon and everybody wants to jump on it without truly understanding what astrology truly means. Be one of ethics. We astrologers help others unfold the universe to help them consciously work through these different celestial energies. And they can be overwhelming for some, especially people who are very, very sensitive. It can be a very overwhelming time. So don't add to that. Don't add to that. Make sure that, we are operating clearly and with integrity. This is also goes about looking at just our sun signs. I see, I just read an article that was talking about, what person to be with or what is the worst signs to be with just based off of your sun signs. And, that kind of does it a little bit injustice because we have a whole birth chart. And the sun is just a glimpse. It's just a glimpse. But if you're looking at a love relationship, what about the Venus sign? That's our planet of love. What about that? So there's a lot to consider when you're looking at astrology. Now I'm going to move on a little bit because this is getting very lengthy and I do want to talk about a few things that are going on before I end this, and I want to make sure I can get this out there. On the 4th, a couple days ago, Mars moved into Libra. Now active Mars can make our relationships more passionate. This can be an inspiring energy as it wants to ignite us in the directions of our passions. This is great energy to understand our own power as well. And, Mars tells us in this position not only to feel it, but live it. Live your passions. What are you passionate about? Go after it. We have to understand that we have no control over other people, but we have control over ourselves. Now, there's a couple more things that I want to touch on, and then we'll be done. On October the 7th, which is tomorrow, Mercury will be opposite Uranus. So this could be a very active time. Uranus is our awakener. it could be a time of great, you could have so many ideas and not really know what to do with them. Like I said, Uranus is a great awakener. So, and Mercury is not only about communication, it's air, so it's mental as well. So be careful here, you're not getting lost in thought. Also, a communication could occur where it could, you learn something that you didn't know. There's many different things that could be considered here, but at the same time, now I want to include this, at the same time, the Sun will be squaring Saturn, and Saturn is in Capricorn, and this is really going to be hard about keeping things in balance, because Saturn in Capricorn, this is Father Time and the powerful fist of control here. And Father Time is about boundaries, and we're in the sign of Libra, which is an air sign. So this could be a great time of trying to find balance in your life. On the 8th now, we're going to feel another energy shift as Venus will enter Scorpio. And this is very comparable to the goddess entering the underworld, the myth of Inanna. And I will be doing my show. Let's see here. I'll be doing my next show on the 10th, and I'll talk a little bit more about the goddess going into the other world then. But this is when that she's having to discard things. And Mars in Libra is weakened by the Chiron opposition. That's going to be a lot of different kind of energies going on, some kind of struggles, some things that you're not clear about. This could cause some struggles with. Just take it easy here. Don't judge too quickly. Don't go off the handle too quickly. Allow things to marinate a little bit. Don't act too quickly on things. Think about it, okay? Now, we are getting ready to have a full moon on October the 13th, and it will be squaring Pluto. So this is going to be some interesting energy to talk about on our next show, and I urge you to not miss my next show on the 10th of October at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on the Cauldron.net. We've got a lot of energy to talk about. We've got some aspects that are happening along with this full moon. Really, really good energy. It's a really great time to grow spiritually, to become enlightened. And like I said, there's some tricky aspects going on the next few days. That's okay. It's okay. Take it and transform it. Transmute it. Take the negative and transmute it into the positive. Use it in a positive way. Use it to further you. Use it to enhance you. Okay? Now, sorry this went so long. I was going to try to keep it down to about 30 minutes, and it's definitely not. So thank you so much for watching the video. Please join me on Thursday nights for more. I will be posting the divination part of the show on a different video, so stay tuned for that. Again, this is your celestial host, Sirona Rose, of the AstroTarot show that appears on the Cauldron Radio, thecauldron.net, every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Thank you so much, and merry part until we merry meet again.